I've been playing shooting games ever since I was 9 years old. I am now 19. What's that you say? Go outside? I will, just let me get a few more games in. Alright, fine, I'll make the damn video. For a lot of us, video games have always been there. If I were to look back at the earliest memory I could remember, video games would be a part of it. I look back fondly at the memories of playing video games as a child, as let's be honest, video games don't hit the same way they used to. Think back to the first time you ever picked up a controller, the first time you ever beat a game, the first time you bested a challenging boss, experiencing a favorite character's death for the first time you were at the top of the scoreboard. That nostalgic feeling of experiencing an aspect about a video game for the first time becomes harder to replicate the more you play, and no other genre of gaming is more guilty of this than the shooter genre. Allow me to set the perspective of this video. This is the opinion of someone who's been playing shooting games before their balls dropped. I know my way around a shooting game better than I know my way around women. As such, the points I make in this video might not apply to everyone or the average gamer, if you will. And you know, I haven't been playing shooters for over a decade for nothing. I am, as the Fortnite kids would say, cracked. In terms of mechanics and universal game sense, I am much better than your average player. I'm not saying all that as a flex, as let's be honest, it really isn't. But I'm saying all that in order to better set the perspective of this video, as well as showcase my eligibility to speak on topics like movement, shooting mechanics, and gameplay as a whole. Allow me to say this, I'm not a game dev, but I know exactly what makes a game fun. Now that that's out of the way, modern shooters are dog shit. 21 CODs, 17 Battlefields. Yes, the last couple games from both franchises were a train wreck, not because the games are bad or buggy. For the most part. These games haven't done anything bad in particular, but they haven't done anything good either. All four of these are quite literally the same game. Think of everything that makes up a COD game. Guns, game modes, create class systems, flow of gameplay, every single one of these aspects that make up a COD game are extremely similar, if not identical, across all these games. And I mean, can you blame them? Believe it or not, there was a time where Activision tried to innovate and breathe some life into the franchise. So what happened, you ask? This clown fest was because the entirety of the COD community at the time was made up of squeaky 12-year-olds, myself included of course. The community wanted games like Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2, no not that one, which to be fair, at the time the shooter space wasn't oversaturated with dog shit like it is now. Every COD game that was coming out at that time was ever so slightly different than the one before it, but that was enough, because the idea of an arcade shooter was still fresh, and probably because we were 12, but that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say here is that, despite Activision trying to change up the formula of a COD game, it was received extremely negatively by the community as a whole, which leads us to the garbage breast milk drinking and untalented piece of doo-doo company that Activision is today. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was a game that came out during the short-lived innovative era that COD went through, and allow me to say, this was one of the greatest games of all time. Simply put, the game was a breath of fresh air. Movement mechanics, specialists, as well as a top-tier zombies game mode that was in the game. The game mode was so solid that I still play it to this day 7 years later. The Zombies Chronicles DLC released towards the end of the game's life cycle. The DLC included remastered maps from previous games, made to run on the top-tier engine of Black Ops 3. That DLC was a #1 best-selling DLC of any game of all time. We are the reason behind the shooter genre being as dull as it currently is. Despite how the game showcased Treyarch's ability to innovate and create a unique and fun experience, we basically told them, give us garbage. Many of the other top game studios witnessed what COD went through in that era. That is where and when game studios started putting out boring games that lacked motivation and, more importantly, balls. There's another reason that the genre is, you know, the way it is. Listen, I'm not too big on this topic, and I don't really like talking much about it since nothing myself or anyone else can say will change the current monetization systems adopted by modern games. But it is in the spirit of the video, so I kinda have to. I'll try and keep it short though. First off, allow me to say I understand. Game studios are just like any other form of big corporation. They want profits, and they use those profits in order to make better games, except they don't. Games have never been as profitable as they currently are today. Yet at the same time, games have never been as broken, dull, unimaginative, and just straight up bad as they are in their current state. Battle passes, shops, in-game currency rack in so much bread for these companies, it's not even funny. So why have games like Overwatch been on the decline ever since adopting these systems that practically print out money? I mean, just think about it. Why would they go out of their way to actually get creative and put out something truly unique like they have done in the past? Or actually finish that PvE game mode they've been teasing for the last 3 years? But no, instead, we get this. To be fair, the skins in most modern titles look incredibly good. Pricing aside, the skins look genuinely good. They look nice. People play games for fun. Some of you be proving otherwise though. Playing the game and unlocking cosmetics through challenges or just general playtime is way more fun than just pulling out your wallet. You buy that knife, you buy that brand spanking new Saitama skin, and then what? Everyone else during that 2-week time period that the skin is popular is running that skin. Earning a cosmetic item through an in-game challenge holds a lot more meaning than just outright paying for it. It gives a sense of validation. Yes, I spent over 30 hours unlocking the skin, and yes, I get no bitches, but I'm still better than you at this game. Back in the day on COD, seeing someone run around and shit on the whole lobby with a gold or diamond skin strikes fear into the hearts of everyone else in the lobby. And whenever you take down said person, you would be so hyped to run over and just pick up their weapon, cause that would be the only way for you to get your hands on that weapon besides getting good. Now, you see a skin you like, you ask mom for money, and you get it. That sense of reward is missing, and that causes the skins you buy to go stale real quick. Ultrakill is the whole reason I even wanted to make this video. I have played every subgenre of shooter under the sun. I'm talking arcade, arena, hero, movement. I've even played a few porn shooters here and there. I've even sunk as low as to give Usu a shot. I've played it all. But these two games right here are truly special, and I'm a big fan of these two subgenres in particular. So why these two games? They embody what it means to be a PvE single player movement shooter. They're just fun. These games, simply put, do things that have already existed within the genre, but they do them right. A movement shooter prioritizes the movement part of the game as much as the shooting part. Ultrakill does this proper. You can load up a massive grenade shell into the shotgun, slam to the ground, pop them up, and boom, movement plus aim equals... This is basically the essence of a movement shooter, pure unfiltered dopamine. But here's the problem, not everyone can enjoy them. In most first person shooters, you're aiming at either head or chest level, or feet if you're like that. Horizontal style aim is what most people are used to, so once shit is flying across the screen and you're having to aim at things directly above or below you, the average player will struggle to hit anything. The natural increase in skill floor in movement based shooters makes the barrier to entry for the average gamer pretty steep. While some people enjoy the learning curve, most don't, and that is why the genre is practically dead and buried. These two still go crazy. Severed Steel. The game isn't very long, 1.5 hours total, and I beat the game twice. Jumps, double jumps, wall jumps, leaps, slides, off wall kicks, hell, you can even kick off of other people. The mechanics themselves are not very complicated, but it allows for a good palette of combo sequences. If you chain all of the movement tech together, you can do some crazy shit. The most unique feature introduced in this game is definitely the arm cannon. Are the enemies blocking your way? Just make another one. Are you too lazy to go up the stairs like a normal individual? Just drill a hole through the ceiling. Game devs are normally terrified of giving player this much map freedom, but not in this game. It allows you to use the arm cannon and pair it with the movement to absolutely run through levels. The game is just simple fun, no complications. It's well put together and fun. Ultrakill. I have a few things to say about this game. The game is basically a Doom clone. And now strap in as I'm about to commit sacrilege within the shooter space. Doom Eternal is mid. Having to manage ammo in a PvE shooter, the gimmicky flamethrower and grenade additions that are just there for the sake of being there, the dull and unimaginative weapons that were just straight up copied from the last game. This game was one of the few games to be received well by the shooter audience, but that's not gonna stop me from hating. Thankfully, Ultrakill fixes pretty much all of these issues. Unlimited ammo reserves, no gimmicks, and truly unique and fun weapons. Look at this, you can toss a coin in the air and then shoot the coin out of the air to split up your shot into 2 projectiles. The original Quake grenade launcher built into the shotgun. Who thinks of this shit? The way all facets of gameplay complement each other without getting in each other's way is such a breath of fresh air. Doom wants you to keep cycling through all the weapons that you come across while also using the gimmick. It funnels players into a certain resource management like playstyle that I personally find to be not fun. In Ultrakill, each weapon and ability stands on its own 2 feet without the reliance on another. This allows you to play through the whole game using only one weapon or ability. Admittedly, doing that is pretty stupid, but the option is there nonetheless. The idea of balance in a single player PvE game is just stupid. Balance is something that is strictly reserved for online play. If I'm constantly one-shotting some poor kid from across the map all throughout the game, then it's clear that one side is not having as much fun as as the other. But in a PvE setting, if I'm continuously shitting on the AI, then the fuck's the AI gonna do? Cry about it? If a player wants to make things more challenging for themselves, then they can just do that. There is no need to artificially make things harder by having the game itself limit the player in the form of resource management. For a game that is a Doom clone and that was also made by one guy, this game is a hidden gem that I think everyone should try. This video might have come off as a little negative, especially as opposed to my other videos, but I'm saying all this because I love video games. It's one of the few things that I've carried out from my childhood into my adult life. I've seen a countless number of people fall out of love of gaming, and many of those people were friends that played more than even I did. I'd hate to see the industry collapse over itself because of corporate greed, because every game needs to have an esports, and because of shameless, repetitive, and unimaginative gameplay loops. At the rate we're going, video games won't last long, so let's drop all that shit and reach that previously attained potential that you've shown us before, and make games genuinely fun again.